Greetings, brothers and sisters. So, you know, I got a bunch of stuff to cover today. Some of this other stuff about the Trump stuff with Epstein and then other things. Today is Wednesday, I think the 19th of something like that. I can look at my phone, look at the actual date for you. It's the 16th. It was off by 2 days. Anyways, this speaks for itself. Let's just get into it.
This morning, the story that will not go away for President Trump, and not go away because Republicans on the Hill are joining in the MAGA chorus demanding more transparency on the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. This is reaching something of a bipartisan fever pitch right now and creating the most bizarre alliances. MAGA influencers, congressional Republicans, and congressional Democrats essentially teaming up against the Trump administration and its handling of a case that went away in 2019 when Jeffrey Epstein died in jail, sparking a flood of conspiracy theories on the right.
Flood of conspiracy theories. It was a flood of conspiracy theories.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is now speaking out, calling on the Department of Justice to release whatever files they still have on the sex trafficking investigation. President Trump, after years suggesting he would...
Mike Johnson's bailing on him. Like, they're all bailing on him. And it's not that they want to get to the bottom of Epstein, because they know he can't, right? Like, the Democrats know he can't. There's Democrats that are calling for this now. Like, everybody, you know, they're like sharks circling the, you know, it's blood in the water, right? And Trump can't reveal it. Like, this, he can't. Whatever's there, whatever could be revealed can't be revealed. The truth can't come out. So they got the guy, right? They got him pinned down. Republicans are probably, you know, giving their chance to break him free from MAGA, right? You know, and so he's in a horrible position because he's got Israel on one side and, you know, his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein and all that. And then he's got his supporters' probably number one issue, right? He's so fucking screwed.
Release files and wanted them released to the American people, now says he just does not get it, why people care.
I don't understand it, why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time.
He's not George Washington, and he's dead for a long time. Is that what you're saying? Do you think, like, you know, it's 6 years, what is it? It's 2018? Whatever it was, it's like 6 years, right? I can look it up, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, it could be 10 years, 15 years. Like, I mean, he thinks there's like a date where people just give up on something. His death is a big part of why there's interest, right? Because people were waiting for the Epstein trial. And it was all supposed to come out during the Epstein trial. And so if there's anything there that would be a bombshell, then it wasn't going to come out, right? Like, you should just all know that by now. You're never going to hear the truth. And so his fake suicide, you know, this idea that people are suicided has now been called, it's now called being Epsteined, right? At least by me, and I'm sure other people say the same thing. When somebody gets, you know, when that Virginia Giuffre died after getting $12 million from Prince Andrew. Oh, she was Epsteined, right? So it's like, it's a term, like, fucking, you don't fucking get it, right? What are you talking about? You don't get it.
He was never a big factor in terms of life.
He was never a big factor in terms of life. What are you talking about? He's a billionaire who knew fucking everybody and provided them with underage girls. Like, he was a big fucking factor. What are you talking about? He was never a big factor of life. Unfucking believable where this guy's going with this, right? You think this is a good idea, like, you fucking moron? Tell people, I don't know why you're interested in this, you fucking dummies. This guy was never a big factor in terms of life.
I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring.
Holy shit, it's boring? Like, you're telling people that they're fucking boring and they're looking into boring shit. You know, I talked about how, I mean, this is what this guy thinks is boring. This guy who is, you know, most likely a Mossad agent who has infiltrated the rich and famous of American politics and celebrity culture, and it was either spying or blackmailing or both all of these people, including Trump, and was human trafficking at the highest levels of government and finance. And then he was caught, got a cushy jail sentence. People who are Trump supporters had this whole Pizzagate thing. You know, I mean, if he's talking about that, what was his obsession with Hunter Biden? What's the difference between Hunter Biden's laptop and Jeffrey Epstein's black book? Jeffrey Epstein's list. What's the difference? Really nothing, right? It's pretty boring stuff. Like, for him to say that, he's just so clueless. He's telling you, dumb fuck Trump supporters, that he never cared about this or you or what you think is important. It doesn't matter whether you think it's important. This is a fucking about fairness and people being held accountable for fucking horrible shit. And that, you know, these young girls aren't, you know, considered like slaves or less than human. That they can be abused by these rich and elite people and never serve any and never have any justice done, right? It's pretty boring stuff. You think it should be, and again, he said this stuff about when this reporter who had his big moment, his biggest moment ever, because he was invited to a Signal chat group, which again, people suspect he might be Mossad, the guy. I mean, Mossad is getting a lot of run now. But that he was invited to the Signal chat room and he was given war plans accidentally, and that the guy left the chat because he was bored. Like, what are you excited about, Trump? Like, what excites you? Like, why do you want to govern? Like, what do you, just so you can fucking break families up of migrant families and go to Home Depot and beat the shit out of people and throw them in fucking alligator Alcatraz? Is that what excites you? That's not fucking boring. That's, you know, like these people. What about these people who've been here for 10 years? He's been dead for a long time. Like, after 10 years, something gets boring. You know, it's not even 10 years, but whatever it is, right? And so, just fucking stupid shit he's saying. I mean, he's telling you you're a dumb fuck that he doesn't care about you.
And I don't understand why it keeps going, but credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say, let them have it.
Well, you mean she withheld credible information? Is that what you're saying? Now, stop, like, all these dopes who want to blame Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi is like a non-existent person. She's like in all the Trump administration, like when they're all talking, she's the one with the least personality. When Trump has his stupid-ass cabinet meetings and they go around the table, she's the one that's like the NPC of that group. And she does exactly what he says. Like, she has no, you know, I mean, there's no autonomy there. Anything that she does is what Trump wants her to do. And so, you know, he may throw her under the bus eventually, but he just said that if there's any credible information, let him have it. That means that she's been withholding information. You just admitted that there's more information there to be had. And so, like, what's the, I mean, you know, it's fucking bad, bro. It's really fucking bad. And so this is what he did with Hillary Clinton. Like, he campaigned on locking her up, and they said, well, that played well before the election. And then he came out and said that he protected her. Let me show you that meme.
Yeah, please. I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about it. I think it's a tragic story.
This is about pardoning Hunter Biden.
You want to know the truth. And I felt that with Hillary Clinton, too. You know, with Hillary Clinton, I could have done things to her that would have made your head spin. I thought it was a very bad thing. Take the wife of a president of the United States and put her in jail. And then I see the way they treat me. That's the way it goes. But I was very protective of her. Nobody would understand that, but I was. I think my people understand it. They used to say, lock her up, and I'd say, just relax, please. We won the election. I think it would be I think it would have been horrible for our country And we had her between the hammering of all of the files. And don't forget, she got a subpoena from the United States Congress. And then, after getting the subpoena, she destroyed everything that she was supposed to get. I thought it was so bad to take her and put her in jail, the wife of a president of the United States, and then when it's my turn, nobody thinks that way. I thought it was a very terrible thing. And she did a lot of very bad things. I'll tell you what, she was pretty evil. But in terms of the country and in terms of unifying the country, bringing it back, to have taken her and to have put her in jail, and I think you know the things as well as I do. There were some pretty bad acts that she did. I think it would have been very bad for our country. And a lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base. And I think the base is 75% of the country.
See if they have the Mike Johnson thing. Here I have. I don't think there's anything more here.
Attorney General Pam Bondi, for her part, is not budging, maintaining that after their review of the files, there is nothing to see. House Democrats, as I mentioned, they're really jumping in now. They tried to force the Justice Department's hand here by putting an amendment in an unrelated bill to release the Epstein files. That failed, but that's not stopping Democrats from trying to exploit this break, this fissure between President Trump and his party. CNN's Kevin Liptak is joining us now starting us off from the White House this morning. Where is this headed today, Kevin?
Well, it's certainly not dying down, which had been the expectation of people inside the White House when we were talking about this yesterday. Certainly the president's supporters still very upset about all of this. And it's not clear that the president saying that he doesn't understand it, saying that, quote, only very bad people are interested in this, is going to have the effect that he hopes it has. And a lot of...
You know, this shows you Trump never cared about anything that you cared about if you're a Trumper. He fucking's been lying to you. And when push comes to shove, he's on Israel's side when they're doing fucking genocide in Palestine. And that Palestinian people are just bad luck, and he wants to turn into a resort and a hotel. That he's totally owned by Israel. Like, that's the first thing. Which is a big thing for, lots of people in the truth community. Israel's influence on America, ownership in some cases, like that's a big thing for truthers. Blaming Israel and Zionists and, this whole thing, all of it, for everything, right? There's people in the truth community, right-wing people. And Trump was on their side, the bank side. He's on the banker side whenever there's some kind of financial thing. He's on Wall Street's side. He's on Hillary Clinton's side and Bill Clinton's side when it comes to, push comes to shove, when it comes to either prosecuting them or not, going after them the way that he promised the first term. Like he lied to all these people, saying he cared about these things. He didn't say he didn't understand Epstein during the campaign. I don't understand your fascination with Epstein when this was coming up and people were saying these things. His fucking, in their core people, his son, the rest of it, right? Like there was none of that then, right? I don't know. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand your fascination. I don't understand. Boring guy. This guy's so fucking boring. I don't even understand it. He's boring. He's so fucking boring. So, all of those things. And, there's a lot there. And so the Democrats smell blood in the water and other Republicans are bailing. And, if his name now is in anything that they release, if his name is in the files, that's going to be a huge scandal. The Democrats and news are going to be talking about that constantly. And they'll talk about how the people who believe in this are crazy conspiracy theorists because they're also owned by Israel and whatever, it's just, this is like turning out to be like a moment where one of the few things that could turn the Trumpers against Trump when they realize, and then all of the stuff, they start questioning all his other shit, right? Like his fucking tariffs that are causing inflation. We're coming at a time where inflation now is kicked back in. And it's not going away because whatever they're doing is artificial. Inflation's supposed to be way worse than it is. They've been propping it up artificially. And so, this is where the walls start closing in on Trump. and his supporters, and then you're going into the fucking midterms. The Democrats take over, and then there's just all-out shit show between the two fucking parties, right? And, he's displaying all the things that I've said about him, that he doesn't care about you. It's boring. To tell people that are really upset about something that you've let them down, that it's, who gives a shit, it's boring stuff. Why do you even care about that? Especially when you lied to them and pretended you did. Like you've been going, like it's nothing worse when somebody says that they just been going along with something you believe in. And then they have the power to give that to you. And, the political stuff and the rest of it. And, and so, this is great.
Of the ire still continues to be directed at the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, who, remember, only a few months ago said that she had the Epstein client list on her desk ready to review, but then in that memo last week said that such a list did not exist. Now, we heard from Mike Johnson, who is about the biggest ally of President Trump's in Washington. He was asked about that comment from Pam Bondi. Listen to what Johnson said.
We should put everything out there and let the people decide. Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents. As I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but...
Oh, of course she was. She said she had it on her desk, and when the person asked about the list, she didn't say I had the file on my desk.
She needs to come forward and explain that to everybody.
And first of all, if you had access to this information, right? Now, these people all said they are passionate about it. Whether it was Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and all these motherfuckers that were on podcasts, they were all fascinated with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. And, if you had access, like if you became, one of these people, and you had the file on your desk, you think you would immediately dive into it, right? Like the first thing you would do. Like he's saying this is boring, Trump said, because he's in it, right? Whatever this is and whatever it isn't, whatever, the whole thing whatever this fucking, I talk about this being the show. But if you were going to have clearance, what would you look into? JFK assassination, UFOs probably maybe number one, right? I mean, depending on, whatever it is. Jeffrey Epstein, these other things. You would look at these things. If you could read classified information, and the majority of people, if you were given access to it, and we could vote on what we could have, the 9/11 full, it would be one of those things. And for Trumpers, it's the Epstein stuff. And this is the thing that's, fueling a lot of the passion in his base. All the people who were Pizzagate people that became QBs, that became, part of all that stuff, right? That fucking genre stuff, truther stuff. And this was their number one thing because it involved kids and, being abused and enslaved and human trafficked, right? And so this is a passion amongst the truthers that are right-wing truthers and, truthers in general. And if they got a chance to look into this, they want to hear more. That if you put a video out there about Epstein, you're going to get more views than you would regularly get on your, your right-wing fucking, it's probably the number one view getter. People want to know the truth. They want resolution. And so for her to say, I have the folder on my desk or the list on her desk, I mean, she said the folder. What do you mean you have it on your desk? Didn't you, the first day you had access to that, did you fucking look into those things, right? Like these are campaign promises. They're the first things. Oh my God, I can find out what happened with Jeffrey Epstein. There's got to be a curiosity there. If you're in the government, like that's one of the good things about when you get security clearance, that you get to fucking see shit that other people don't see. And you can't talk about which sucks, but you get to see it. You get to know. You get the knowledge that's been hidden from you. And so it's silly to say, oh, it's on my desk, I'll just try to get around to it. Like it's fucking silly, right?
So clearly now a lot of pressure mounting on the Justice Department to put out more information on this. And in fact, you did hear from President Trump yesterday, even as he tried to dismiss all of this, say that he thinks that Bondi should put out more information if it is what he calls credible. But at the same time, he sort of diminished the possibility that such a credible list might exist, saying that it was created by his political rivals. We've also heard Democrats call for hearings on Capitol Hill.
You know, it's just, he's just as fucking dope. So then this happened.
Mr. President, your daughter-in-law said that there should be transparency in the Epstein case. Do you agree with her, sir?
The Attorney General's handled that very well. She's really done a very...
This is the fake Christian Barbie truther. And, like, I don't know if she's aging here or what's happened. It's a bad angle, but looks much older there. Fish boy.
good job. And I think that when you look at it, you'll understand that. I would like to see that also. But I think the Attorney General, the credibility is very important. And you want credible evidence for something like that. And I think the Attorney General has handled it very well.
Credibility is really important. You want credible evidence. You know, not anything that mentions me, because that would be not credible.
The Attorney General briefed you on the DOJ and FBI review.
Just looking very old. Not dealing well with the fucking Epstein thing.
Of that review, the Attorney General briefed you on
On
that.
what? On the
DOJ and FBI
on what?
review.
On what subject?
Epstein.
Okay.
On Epstein, of the review of the files. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
A very quick briefing. Yeah.
Did she tell you, what did she tell you about the review? And
Very quick briefing. Like all this other bullshit that you're doing that American people didn't ask you to do. You spend hours on immigration and all these other things. Your bullshit tariffs that are, you know, nobody fucking understands. And, you know, I got a short briefing about. I don't know. She's doing a wonderful job, but I don't know anything about it. She gave me a short briefing, so she's doing an amazing job, and we only want credible evidence. And this thing's pretty fucking boring. But you know, I don't know. I'm not accountable. I don't know anything.
specifically, did she tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No.
Holy shit! That made the Christian Barbie truther say, "How the fuck is he going to answer this one?"
Appeared in the file.
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen.
Yeah. So you know, she didn't say anything about the fact that I was all over his fucking book and shit, the videos and whatever. That's not credible.
And I would say that, you know, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, you know, we went through years.
But how do you know that they were all made up for that? Why were they made up? Do you think that Obama was putting your name out there? You know, when and was putting your name in the Epstein files and finding uncredible information that wasn't credible? It's incredible information about you having a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein that you called a terrific guy and he likes young girls. Is that, you know, was that fucking credible when you said that? When you palled around with him?
Of that, with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through, we've gone through years of it.
And so your name is in there. He just admitted his name's in there. Listen to what he just said. He said, no. We only want credible evidence. She only briefed me shortly. And all of the information in that file was put in there by Comey and Obama. Obama put his name in there, even though that Trump wasn't what did he do it right before you got elected? In 2000, Obama said, let's put Trump's name in a Jeffrey Epstein file that nobody gave a shit about. That Jeffrey Epstein wasn't an issue in 2016. It barely came up. It wasn't until your presidency that the whole thing started over again, and where he was suicided, where he was Epsteined. And so he's just admitted it. He's linking the Epstein files to all the other things where were supposed to be false information that was attacking him, that he says is false. like all the other files and stuff that out there. He keeps on doing it. He keeps on linking where so he's in it. Trump just admitted he's fucking in it. No. It's just like those other files. Let's listen to that again.
Tell you at all that your name appeared in the file?
No. She's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen. And I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it.
No, you went through years of it. We didn't do good shit. You went through years of it.
She's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
But not the shit that says my name on it. My name is fucking all over the place. So there's not a lot of it. That's all not credible. So she can't. Anything that has my name in it is not credible. And so, I mean, fucking anything to do with Mossad and my name is not credible. So I don't know. I don't know whether anybody I'm associated with. I don't. There's only about 3 words that she can release. Like it's like a Post-it note she can show you. That's not talking about me or Mossad or my friends or anything that's not credible. Like these other things. And so he just admitted he's all over this fucking thing. What a fucking tool. Okay, so I was done with this video. I was going to put the clips together and edit it, and this was recommended to me. Their new scam is what we will forever call Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this bullshit, hook, line, and sinker. My past supporters. So he's breaking up with his supporters. He's calling them, like they've left him over this thing. I mean, clearly all of his people fed into it. And he has admitted that this is some way that the Jeffrey Epstein thing is a hoax, that his name is included. Because all these other hoaxes are things that are about Trump. So the Jeffrey Epstein hoax is about Trump, and the Democrats, their new scam is, he put scam and past in capital letters here. And he's linked this to all these other things that were supposed to be false allegations against him, all these hoaxes and scams that were put out by the deep state to go after him. And now he's saying that Jeffrey Epstein is one. But he could have nipped it in the bud a long time ago and said that back then. So now he's saying that this latest attack on him that's being pushed by his past supporters, he's saying, fuck you, get out of here, you guys. You guys don't fucking love me anymore. Fuck you guys. I don't need you guys. Fucking guys. It's like some guy who just got his ass kicked. Fuck. I don't give a fuck. Hey guys, I'm fucking kids. I don't care if you don't like me. I'm fucking fuck. And so their new scam is we will call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax, and my past supporters have bought into this bullshit hook, line, and sinker. So he's now connected these things. The Jeffrey Epstein scam is a part of all these other things that were supposed to be to discredit him. So his name is all over this fucking thing. And if they release the info, it'll be his name. And then, he's got nowhere to go here. Because now he's covered up for it. These people are going to be like, oh my God, you were part of this the whole time. And either whether he releases this or not, I mean, as dumb as these dumb fucks are, and they're pretty fucking dumb, and as desperate as they are, and they're pretty fucking desperate, and as much as they'll never turn to the Democrats and they believe they have to vote, as much as they don't want to go back to the Rhino Republicans, that they have to, at some level, this is fucking right in their face. And this is the worst thing he can do, because he's called them past. So he's saying you no longer are the MAGA movement is dead. He's admitted that this thing that his name is on the list, and this is because Obama put it there, that this was some contrived thing by his enemies, that they went back in the past and did something. They investigated and made these lists and this stuff, even though they never pushed for these lists to be released, and the Democrats never cared about it. And they seem to actually block the list from being put out there. and that Jeffrey Epstein had a picture of Bill Clinton in a blue dress. This has all been about somehow discrediting Trump, and now his dumbass past supporters have bought into the bullshit, which he has said bullshit and fuck now in like interviews in public, official statements, but he's on Truth Social, he's leaving out that part. Like, you're not allowed to swear there. And what the fuck is that all about? But he's owned this thing. Trump is connected to Jeff Epstein, and I don't know how long this will go on or whether he'll recover from this, but there's, there's not people running around with MAGA hats, and the dumb fucks aren't showing up here as much and complaining about fucking the way they're characterized because, they kind of know they're dumb fucks now. Because he's calling you dumb fucks as well, which I just said. You fell for it. You guys fell for this scam that was pushed by my son and by all my cabinet members before they were cabinet members. And you guys fell for it. You fell for my campaign saying that we're going to release this list. And you fell for the list being important when it's really just a way to discredit me because I'm on that list. I don't fucking know. Guys, there's no fucking passport. I don't fucking know. And so this is just wonderful. Like, just an absolute piece of shit. So I just want to add this. I'm editing, so I know it's coming and I know how this video is ending. But, I just looked at YouTube or whatever it was, and there was some right-wing guy who was saying, when Trump's saying this, that the truth is never going to come out. And you're going to hear this stuff from Dan Abrams in a moment, too, and these things. But I've already said this, right? Why would you ever think the truth would going to come out, or why would you ever think you're going to believe the truth, right? So this is everything in the truth community. I mean, just think about this. This is like real important for your stress level and everything else. If they lie to you about something initially, they are then pressured. The people in the story, the people that control the system, the controllers, the whatever it is, anybody in your life. If somebody lies to you, and this is professional liars, so even more so. If somebody lies to you, there's a reason for it, right? And so let's say you catch your significant other cheating and something like that, and they lie to you about it. And then you catch them, and so you think the next thing that comes out of their mouth is going to be the absolute truth, that they're going to tell you everything that they feel, their absolute inner world, all the things that they hide from you, all the other stuff that they lied to you about. You think they're just going to come clean? They're just going to tell whatever amount of truth mixed with other lies and disinformation or distraction or whatever they end up doing, attacking you or blaming you or deflecting or whatever they do, right? Because that's what's going to happen. And when it's professional fucking liars like this, if they hid it from you in the first place, if they covered things up in the first place, you think you're ever going to get the full truth and all the motivation behind it and all the different players. And, every person that was involved with Jeffrey Epstein is going to try to find a way to make sure when the truth comes out, right, so air quotes, that they're not involved, right? So they're all going to try to find ways to block it or this or that or create distractions or anything, any number of things. And if they released everything, how would you know they released everything? And how would you know that everything that was in there was the absolute truth? I talk about this with the Bible. The Bible can't be trusted because it's been edited and it's been translated. They've taken things out. They've changed the story. So there's things about Jesus you don't know. There's things that they've pushed on you about Jesus that isn't true. And there's things about Jesus that they've kept hidden. And there's things that they've emphasized and other things they've de-emphasized. And so, that's any number of things are like that. You're never going to get the truth when it's filtered through lying pieces of shit people, which everybody is, right? No one's ever going to tell you the fucking truth because people don't even know the truth. How can they tell you the truth when they don't know it? And they don't know the spiritual aspect and the layers of some scars and things that are a part of this whole thing. And so you don't really want the truth. Like, people don't want the truth. Like, if they wanted the truth, they'd go to God. They would, fall before God and they would connect to God and God would show you everything you need to know. I've talked about this in the Mahabharata. There's Krishna is the incarnation of Vishnu, the cosmic functionary, the god of preservation. He's in charge of all the preservation that happens around the earth and the universe. There's a soul. And at some point, it'll be another soul. Like, these are jobs that you have as a spiritual being, and then you move on to something else, and then some other soul takes responsibility. There's a soul in charge of the sun. There's a soul in charge of death. There's a soul in charge of the weather, right? All these things. There's spiritual energy and consciousness that are behind all these things, right? That's why people would pray to the god of the sun, or the guy, the weather god, whatever, to get rain and these things, right? Because there would be consciousness there, right? There's some sort of divine consciousness that is making sure God's will is executed in all these things, right? All these things that go on. And Vishnu incarnates with Vishnu's soul and his ego on planet Earth. So his ego is one person and his soul is another. And in this case, Krishna was the soul and Arjuna was his ego. And at the beginning of the Mahabharata, Arjuna is tasked with killing his beloved uncle, who's one of the best people, maybe the best person in the whole story, Bhishma, and his teacher Drona, his beloved archery teacher, who's these guys are these gurus who, they live for a long time, like these people he's associated with. All of his cousins, most of them are evil, but still they're his cousins, and all these other people who are kings and friends and warriors, that because this is a family battle, and some of the good people are on the bad side. And Arjuna is the only really good archer on his side, and he has to kill all these fucking people. And he can't do it. He's like, I can't kill these people. He starts crying and breaking down. And Krishna says, all right, take a look at this. This is the reference that that guy from the Oppenheimer did when he talked about I've become death, right? And Krishna shows him his soul, shows Arjuna his own soul, like his own soul's history and all that it is. And it's terrifying to Arjuna. Like his soul's been responsible for since the beginning of time, right? And Arjuna's like, okay, I'll kill whoever you want. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't ever show me that again. Because people are scared of their souls. People are scared of seeing what they are spiritually. They're scared of the demon within, but they're even more scared of the saint. So they rather look at the demon and the demon in other people, but they're scared of people who are spiritual. They're scared of saints. They're scared of spiritual masters, because it's their ego not wanting to give up its own ability to choose to do the wrong thing. So people delve into gossip and low-level shit, and they're always looking down at mundane crap. And this is what this is about. It's not about seeking the truth, because you're never going to get the truth from liars who've already lied to you and are going to lie to you again, and they're just going to try to minimize the damage. People don't like to tell the truth. If they did, they'd tell you the truth in the fucking beginning, right? They wouldn't have lied to you in the first fucking place. And so you're never going to get the truth about anything in the truth community. The truth community isn't about seeking truth, because people in the truth community aren't seeking God. If they were seeking God, they wouldn't spend all their time wasted hours on bullshit shit like Jeffrey Epstein. That the truth is already there. As far as we can tell, this guy worked for Mossad. He was a spy and was doing some sort of spying / blackmailing / sex trafficking that involved Trump and the Clintons and both sides, and everybody's a scumbag. And if they let all this out, the relationship with Israel would have to fucking end almost immediately, with Israel being our enemy for doing the shit that they've done. Other shit would come out that is being pushed back by the news media and all these things. And our government all of it. We'd lose faith in everything, and the system would collapse. If people really cared, and they really don't. Because people will choose to ignore something if it means that that their lifestyle is going to keep on going. And so even if the truth came out, people would it would be there, they talk about for a little bit, and everyone would forget about what actually happened because they don't care. But the truth isn't going to come out because people don't want to see the truth. And the only people who know the truth, or know partial truth, are pathological liars that are never going to say it. So it's a fucking stupid thing, right? It's just a waste of fucking time. Anyways, let's get back to the original video here. So this is a thing with Dan Abrams, which I think was a name mentioned by whatever her name was. It'll come back to me. But either way, Trump has made this about himself. If the files are never released or whatever is released is, just seem to be like cherry picked, everyone's going to speculate that he's a part of it because of everything he's saying. He's linking this, to link it to Obama. This is the ultimate in real bullshit conspiracy theory that Obama and Comey and all these people were conspiring to put his name on Epstein's list when Epstein was already been prosecuted and was in jail and had done all that shit and was a non-factor. And, the Clintons, which we know from the beginning, I'll show you that in a moment. That woman who broke that report, Candace Owens, that was the Candace Owens mentioned Dan Abrams, I think, I'm not sure. But that woman who broke the story for Amy Royback or whatever it is, we'll go back to that. And, the history of it is that he went to jail, and then sometime in 2016 or 17, this woman from the Miami Herald did a report about this, which was picked up by truthers and people on the internet. And Jeffrey Epstein, people who knew about Jeffrey Epstein and didn't like the cushy deal he got. And that all came out. And so that wasn't to get fucking Trump, only if Trump's name was on the list, right? And, because they didn't put it on the list. They didn't make Trump say he was a terrific guy. But somehow the stupid-ass Trumpers who are oblivious to everything decided that all the evidence that showed Trump had a relationship with this guy, somehow Trump wasn't a part of it, right? And now he's made himself a part of it by, covering it up.
Wanted to stop people from talking about these Epstein files. Trump blaming it on his political enemies, claiming that it's boring, there's nothing to see here, and then Pam Bondi just trying to dodge it. None of that would make all of this go away.
Right. I mean, look, they're not helping themselves, but let's be fair. They're being asked about it again and again and again and again. And that's under.
Let's be fair. You want to be fair to Trump or the Epstein thing? Mediate YouTube TV. So this guy, that's some kind of liberal bullshit thing. This guy used to be on ABC. So I think that this is, he's some kind of Israel. I don't know, because I think Candace Owens mentioned him or whatever it is, right? But this guy is obviously some sort of Israeli shill. And so.
Understandable, right? Considering all the circumstances here. But I don't think, no matter what happens here, they're ever going to get the MAGA base that wants this is ever going to get the answers they want, right? They want names and they want a client list, right? We know what the black book is already.
This is what I said. You're never going to get the information, but not these. Well, let's listen to what he says here.
We know what the black book is already. The black book is the list of the victims. That's the black book. We know he had a black book, and it was a black book of the victims, okay? Then you want to talk about another list. It doesn't seem there is another. There's friends of Jeffrey Epstein's, there's associates, there are flight logs. The problem with that is Donald Trump is on the flight logs. It doesn't mean he did anything wrong.
He totally did something wrong. So here's the thing about it. They're saying that this is all just conspiracy theory stuff. But we know the guy got a cushy deal. And you can say it's because he's a rich person. But he got, where he had work release for 12 hours a day. Remember all that stuff. He wasn't even serving jail time. Like he was in some cushy federal penitentiary for 2 years. The guy who became one of Trump's people, right, whatever that guy's name is, I'll remember it maybe later, was the district attorney, and he said he was basically pressured to give the guy an easy, quick deal. And the story died, but the truthers, people on the internet, picked it up. I was one of them, and we talked about this guy. This stuff to do with Penn State. Remember, Penn State blamed one guy, right? So Penn State's story, these names or whatever, I could look these things up, but it's not important. But there's a coach for Penn State, and there's a wide receivers coach, and the wide receivers coach is in the locker room at like 10:30 at night, And this coach that was accused of doing all the abuse was, anal was sodomizing some 10-year-old boy, and he could hear the slapping of the slapping sound, and it was an open shower, so it was all glass, so there was no even privacy. And he walks by and he sees what's happening, right? And he freaks out. And he tells Joe Paterno, and they all cover it up, all the way up to the top of the dean, who ends up being the dean of the school, ends up being in charge of NSA, right? So this is crazy stuff, and it was a sex trafficking ring, and they made it about one guy, one coach, Sandusky, right? Jerry Sandusky. And so, these things get covered up like that all the time. And whatever happened with the pizza thing, there's more to the story. Of course, disinformation, people make up shit, right-wing people, dumbass people, people who just want clickbait, people who are working for the government, disinformation agents, put out false shit, and people share it because people are dumbasses. It always gets exaggerated. There's always stuff that people end up believing that's just totally made up. That's all true. But there's something else here with Jeffrey Epstein. Where did his money come from? Why did he do the things that he did? And who are the people that were involved with this ring of whatever was going on? There was human trafficking. And the fact that they don't want to get to the bottom of it, now it's tied to Trump. And the things that Trump said and the videos of Trump and Epstein together, if it comes out that Trump was on the plane, that name that they say, that's something Express, and don't tell me, don't care, don't need to know. It's based in that, that movie about, or that famous book about some girl who's being sexually abused by some older guy. The Lolita Express. And my ex, whose dad abused her dad gave her that book to read. She was freaked out by it, when she was in high school. It was a really sordid book. Or she was reading it, and he commented on it. It didn't say, that's not appropriate for you to be reading. Of course, there was it's weird shit, right? This is, there's all this kind of stuff. And so, in Epstein Island. If you find out that Trump was at Epstein Island and on Lolita Express, what's going to happen? And now they've covered it up. And then the videos of him, and finally Trumpers. The worst thing you can have is be a savior or be somebody who's seen as some kind of messiah, and people realize you're not that. Or you say something they don't like and they turn on you. This is what happened to Jesus, right? You do something where your followers, your so-called, disciples turn on you. It's the worst, because those people expect you to be God or God-like. And when you show yourself as a human being, and if you show yourself as a flawed human being, and, whatever happens, that anger they have for you and the deception they felt is way worse than any of these other things, right? And these disciples always turn on you because they just do. It's whether it's jealousy, whether it's, you let them down in some way, whatever the thing is, it always happens, right? It happens in every spiritual tradition. And these people have thought of Trump as a savior, as their rescuer, as their benefactor, and he's, leaned into that as much as he possibly can, and as his, his whole campaign, to make him more than just some guy who's an outsider who's, supposedly good at business and he's going to do things differently. They've made him into something else. And when they realize that he's complicit in all this shit, which now they kind of are, and that he's kind of worse than some of these other guys, that he and his family took way more money than the Biden family did. He monetized his presidency way more, and he's more of a scumbag and more of a liar than any of these other people, because he had more power than they did. They were part of the Democratic establishment. He was an outsider that brought in his own people and was completely backed by Israel and Wall Street and these other, powerful entities that he's doing their bidding for them, that he got to do whatever else he wanted, right? And so when they realize that, he's fucked, and they're now realizing it. I mean, I don't know to what extent, but, if anything comes out that involves Trump, then that's fucked. And if they release nothing or almost nothing, they don't release any of these lists, they're either going to have to say that these lists are compromised, or Trump's going to say, of course I wrote on this plane, right? And so anybody who's associated with Jeffrey Epstein at all then becomes, you were, even if the person was innocent, becomes, yeah, you were guilty because we don't have any other, we're not getting the whole story. And all these other theories about Mossad and all these things are going to stick. And that's going to, the liberals are already anti-Israel. And you have this growing anti-Israeli stuff in the truth community. And now with the Trumpers. And so, like, these are some of the fallouts, right? And these shills are trying to, this guy's a Mossad shill. He's an Israeli shill.
But the reality is, if you want to say, I want to see every flight log, we know Donald Trump was flying with his kids, his infant at one point, from Teterboro, New Jersey to Florida on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. That's not helpful to Donald Trump politically. And as a result, if they're going to demand that everything connected with Epstein be released, it will include some stuff about Donald Trump.
But you don't know.
And that's what it'll be focused on. The mainstream media certainly focused on it. Now, all the other people will be like, this is why you're covering it up, all his Trumpers. So, like, Donald Trump's fucked. He owns this thing now. Like, he went from using it as a political tool. And, he got away with it, lock her up with Hillary, and maybe he thought he could do that. But he's clueless because he doesn't really know anything. Like, he's not thoughtful. He's not curious. So he doesn't know about his followers. He doesn't really understand what they're all about. He doesn't understand their passions. Like, he understands them enough to use them, right? There's a video out there where, let me find that video. Well, let's watch the end of this, and then I'll go do that.
Know that because, first of all, we don't know what the victim testimony is. There are women. The part that I don't understand is Ghislaine Maxwell is sitting in prison right now for trafficking women. Young girls, excuse me, they were not women. Thank you for pointing that out. Mm-hmm. Did she just traffic them to Epstein, or did she traffic them? Well, wait a second. Or did she traffic them?
So why, like, it's an obvious question. Like, why are you trying to shut it down, bro?
To other people. If so, who were those other people?
Let's not pretend we don't know anything about the case. She was tried. All the evidence came out. We know about the civil cases against her. We know what was redacted, what wasn't.
Well, first of all, what was redacted is what we need to know. But we don't know, we certainly don't know what some of these girls had to say about who they potentially slept with. But we don't know the answer to that.
We actually do.
And we don't, actually, because we don't know if there's video of this. We don't know what Epstein had. We don't have access to any of that.
Right. This is like saying, like, oh, there might be this and there
might be
that.
We don't know.
Yeah, there might be. What are you talking about? Of course there might be. It's there. If there's a cover-up, then there's something to cover up, right? Like, this has been covered up 4 times.
It's true, there might be, but there's no evidence of this.
There's no evidence. No evidence that I never saw, nobody else ever saw.
That Dan is making.
Bring it out.
The underlying point that Dan is making is that the secrecy is to protect Trump.
No, a little bit. I don't think it's secrecy. It's I think Trump's right. Trump's right. There's nothing there. Trump's right.
There's nothing there. And all these people, like, if Trump knew there was nothing there, or they pushed this stuff out there, then release it all. If there's nothing there, then release the nothing that's there, right?
No, wait a minute here, Dan. So you think that the 200 young girls who testified, in Florida, for example, in Florida, it was 200 victims or survivors. I don't like to use the word victims. You don't think that those young girls slept with men? You don't think that those men were doing incredibly bad, wrong things to them, harming them?
Here's what we know.
Not just Epstein.
Right. But what's the evidence? I mean, you're asking.
Okay, you could ask the girls who they slept with. You could get them out there and interview them and say, we'll give you full protection, immunity, whatever it is, and name names. Like, because you have people who are, a part of this thing, and, that stuff would ruin those people. And maybe the government, and who knows if how much, like, where did he get his money? Like, there's things that you could investigate. And they know these things. Like, it's known. If these guys don't know what other people do, like Tucker Carlson said, everybody that he talked to in D.C. says that it's Mossad. And if that's accurate, if Tucker Carlson's being honest, and that's what everyone's saying, that's what it is, right? And so there's things there. This guy is trying to shut it down. He's been put out there by Mossad and Israel to try to shut this fucking thing down. I mean, that would be the story.
You're asking
survivors
you're asking me use
of
common
sexual
sense, right?
assault,
so
of
they
course.
there must have been multiple assailants, right? Says who?
Says the survivors.
No.
Dan.
Yeah, that's right. The ones who have
Says the
spoken,
survivors.
the ones
Hold on,
who've spoken
Dan.
out have talked about the
But
people
hold
involved.
on, Dan.
Virginia.
How do we know that there were not? I think this is the whole point.
So it was just Jeffrey Epstein and Prince Andrew. Like, this is what this guy's fucking saying. So let me show you this thing that I want to show you. So this is Katy Perry that goes to, and I have no idea why. This College Game Day. I don't watch college football, but this show is really over the top and goofy. It's like, the preview. It's the opening show that talks about the day's events. And they're at LSU versus Auburn. I think they're, I don't know. I think that we'll see in a second which school they're at. But she's clueless about football. She's clueless about this rivalry. These are two SEC teams that are rivals, right? And they hate these other schools, right? This stuff. And there's, whatever. So she is told certain things to say. And this is Trump. He just does a better job of it, right? Like, he doesn't know what's going on. He knows the bare minimum, but he knows what people want to say, and he, is told the, kind of what they want to hear or whatever. And he goes out there and says it in these speeches, and he's got a sense of it, but in an imaginary way that he's thinking he could just talk this way to these people, and then when he gets elected, he can say "fuck you" to them, because that's what Trump does, right? He butters he butters people up, and then he gets what he wants, and then he says "fuck you," you no longer matter to me. Like, that's Trump's whole life is that, and he gets away with it, but he doesn't realize that if he does that to the MAGA supporters, which he's doing now, it's going to have fucking huge ramifications, right? The MAGA are going to go apeshit. Like, he's saying, "Fuck you, I don't need you guys anymore. I've never believed in what you guys believed," and that's fucking brutal. Like, that's worse than, they'll have more vitriol for him than they've ever had for Hillary, right? So this is Katy Perry.
Did you say LSU or LSQ?
So they're at Auburn. So she's not, she's been told to say this stuff, and she's been told to hold up a fucking corn dog. And look at her fucking, she's just so weird. She's like one of the most, this weird thing she has. And so that means something to the Auburn people. And Katy Perry's saying it, so she's a big celebrity. She's on their side, so they're all cheering. But she knows nothing what she's doing. Like, she's just been told this stuff.
I guess that's an Auburn pick.
And she said she's glitching out.
Okay, I'll see. What do you have for us? Okay, what do you have? I don't know who she picked.
And she goes, "Look, I did it," right? But she has no idea why they're cheering. She doesn't know what the corn dog means. And she's been told these things, right? So, this is Trump, right? This is what Trump does. Like, he finds out what the crowd needs to hear, and he's like, "I don't even understand the fascination with Jeffrey Epstein." Yeah, then why were you pandering to the crowd about these things, right? But you knew you were on the list, and you allowed this to go to this extent. And you had no idea that this is the way that's going to turn out with the MAGA people. There's no one talking to you. You have no handlers that are aware of this. I mean, it seems like they're burning Trump. It seems like they're taking Trump out. I don't know why they would do it. But, he shouldn't have released anything. Pam Bondi they just should kick the can down the road as long as possible. Like, just not say anything about it. Say that we'll get to that or whatever. There are more pressing matters right now. And they could just dismiss it. But to tell the people there's nothing there and it's boring and he's been dead for so long and all that shit, it's just the wrong fucking way. I mean, it's the worst thing he could have done. So this is Amy Rohrback. This is, years and years ago. We're here.
For 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on.
This Project Veritas bullshit, heartbeat in the back, trying to sensationalize it like the fucking scumbags they are.
On the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then
sounds like Trump. It's boring. I don't know why people care about that.
The palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story. And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had
Dershowitz.
everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us.
Now she's dead, right? So this girl has been suicide. She's been Jeffrey Epstein, right? She was in a car accident and then she committed suicide. So after getting $12 million from Prince Andrew for doing he didn't do anything. He just wanted to make the allegations go away, but he admitted to nothing. So like that's one part of the story that no one can deny, that Prince Andrew gave $12 million to a girl who's now dead from suicide. It was very similar to Jeffrey Epstein, right? And so, whatever the story is, again, this thing's all fake, like, fucking third dimensional reality and then all this stuff. But there's real things out there and people know about them. And this is another thing, right?
It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything.
Bill Clinton.
I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it.
So that's exactly, it just sucks so bad that it's coming out and she didn't get credit. She had it all, the big fucking story. And this tells you everything you need to know about the media, right? She's using that girl and using all this stuff, and now it's coming out, and she wishes that she was the one to break the story. That's what's important. Not any of the stuff that's coming out.
I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal.
It was unreal. It was totally unreal. And I had it, and now somebody else is getting credit for it. And so, this tells you how fucked everything is. But right now, Trump is tied to this thing, and it's not going away. You're never going to get the story. You're never going to get the truth. Like, you're never going to get the truth about any of these things. You're trying to get the truth by looking through lies. I say this all the time. If you want the truth, you go to God. And then God shows you what you need to know. If you want to get to the bottom of conspiracies and lies and evil shit that's being done, you never will. Because there's always more to it. There's motivations that you can't even understand. Why has evil shit got to be done in our system? Why does our system reward sociopaths and narcissistic people with success? There's things about everything in our system that make all this evil shit come out and pulls the worst possible person out of you, especially people who are power and rich and these things. Why does all that happen? Like, you just, on a spiritual level. But people want to look through the dirt and sift through the dirt and get into the Jeffrey Epstein, ickiness, and then try to figure out the truth. And it's like, you'll never get the truth, right? You might have it, but you will never get confirmed. And there's always deeper layers to it. And the bottom line is, this is a demonic system that you're addicted to, and everyone's addicted to, and evil shit has to be done to keep this deception, this deceptive demonic system going. That's the truth. Like, I've given to you time and time again. Like, that's the system. The system is bad for people. It has some things that are pleasurable. It has some things that make your life more convenient. It has things that are good and, what you considered good. But it's hurting you. It's hurting the nature. It's hurting the world. And the bad shit has to be done to fuel this system. Deception and evil. It's like sacrifices. Things have to be sacrificed to keep the system going. And you have to do bad things to keep an illusion or a lie going. It's that simple. There's nothing more to see. That's all you have to know. I've been saying this for years. Like, when it gets to the bottom of this thing, it's because people aren't focused on their soul and their soul's path. And if they were doing what God wanted them to do, and they ask God every day, what do you want me to do? And they really listened, developed a relationship, a rapport with the divinity within them, and allowed to guide them through their life, you'd have a society full of saints. I'm dabbling in that, and I've been doing it for now 30 years, right? So, and, but it could be more. And it would be more if everyone else was doing it. Like, if everyone else was doing this thing, it would be a it would be easier because the system would be set up, our economic system and everything else would be set up to be selfless. People would be rewarded for being selfless. Not this girl who's, the only thing that she cares about is that she couldn't break the story. She doesn't, mildly care for, she's gotten this girl out of hiding, and who knows if that girl gets suicided earlier. If she's in hiding for a reason. Now she's dead. So, according to the official story. And, and she after receiving money from Prince Andrew. So the whole thing's fucked. And it's because people are looking in the wrong, people want to look down instead of looking up. People want to look at the lowest form of human life instead of finding the most spiritually evolved people and emulating them. They want to copy the lowlifes and the depraved, and they're interested in the negative and the demonic. And so that's why it's saturated with evil people who are in front of you all the time, whether it be celebrities or politicians or the rest of it. People don't get it, and they'll never get it because they don't want to get it. So then this happened.
The Syrian capital is being hit, and state TV says Israel is responsible. It is 4 p.m. in Damascus. It is 5 p.m. here in Abu Dhabi's CNN Middle East programming headquarters. I'm Becky Anderson. You're watching Connect the World. Let's get straight to the very latest inside Syria. And the capital, Damascus, being hit by a series of airstrikes. State media blaming Israel, and the Israeli defense minister shared video of the attack saying, quote, "The painful blows have begun."
All right, so they're already going after Syria, right? They're doing a genocide in Palestine. They've got America, and they bombed the shit out of Iran. They are going after the West Bank, and now also after getting rid of the previous leader, they are now bombing the shit out of Syria. And I said they were going to completely go for it because as soon as America goes down, Israel needs to be a superpower. And they're trying to grab as much as they possibly can, starting with Gaza and the West Bank, but all the rest of it, right? And so, and Epstein is tied to Israel and these things. And they're just like fucking going all in. And, there's such darkness in these religions, the three big religions there, the Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. And there's such darkness and so much like God as a demon in the Old Testament and all these other things, and just violence in their books. And it's just bad religions with a lot of guilt and shame and just darkness. And, it only is never going to lead to success. Because there's guilt and shame and bad feelings about everything because of the way they think about God. They think about God as a wrathful God. All three of these religions, Jesus is a little bit more compassionate, but still the Old Testament is there. God as a demon. And so they're demon worshipers in one way or another, and they don't know it, don't understand it, and they don't pray to a divine essence of God that's inside of them. They pray to some vindictive demon that is, only going to lead the world to ruin. Anyways, let me wrap this one up here. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely pointing for the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.